All right, so a lot of stuff happened over the course of a week. I mean, we all have our stories. We all went different places. I went and spent time with a bunch of family in Pittsburgh, and it was lovely. I had a nice time, and it was nice not waking up in the middle of the night.
That was great.
Unless it was just to go potty.
Yep.
Aw, potty.
Yeah.
Right.
Go tinkle.
And then go right back to bed.
Yep.
Sweet.
To go potty.
But otherwise uneventful, which was fine.
Uneventful's good.
And some good mind clearing stuff for me because I got caught up on a bunch of stuff I've been meaning to do. Yes, for work, but I mean that chills me, that calms me, which is good. Ravi went a couple different places. She went to Charlotte, North Carolina.
Correct.
And then to Pittsburgh.
Right.
And then Greg, he did a staycation.
That's right.
He had some people in town.
Right.
And then Menace, he went all kinds of places. Went to New York, and then he went
He was on
from
a
New
world
York
tour.
back to
Spokane.
to see his mom.
And then San
Then
Francisco.
to the Bay.
Yeah.
And then here.
Yeah.
It is.
So Menace has always just, I mean, it's not enough that he's going nonstop while he's
I know,
here. He
just-
goes nonstop on vacation.
Yep.
Gunning, gunning.
Whirlwind.
Yeah.
Love it.
Seabass went to Vegas for a few days. Otherwise, just chilled, right?
More or less, yeah.
Yeah. And then
That's fun.
Cameron, he went to Austin, Texas.
I did.
And so he went to Austin, and he was hanging out there. So we
loved
all
it.
have different experiences from vacation. And so we have some stories, of course. And what we're going to do here, it's a round of Needless to Say. And in this round of Needless to Say, it is Greg and Cameron telling their stories. Now, Needless to Say is that last statement from a story you just told, and people go, oh my God. And you go, well, needless to say,
I was remarried to a woman last week.
and you're like, man, what's that all
Yeah,
about?
what does he mean?
And then on the Cameron side of things, Cameron's needless to say statement was,
We'll be replacing the garage gate.
needless to say, we'll be replacing the garage gate. And so we asked you to text over, who do you think was going to have the better story, Greg or Cameron? And overwhelmingly, Greg got the vote. Go figure.
What?
What?
Yeah,
No.
a lot of nuclear Gregs in there.
Nagasaki Greg.
Got one.
Ravi-
Yeah, Nagasaki.
Mega Greg.
Nagasaki.
I love
Greg.
it.
Yeah.
So Ravi, she thought that Greg was going to have the
Yes.
better story. Menace said that he
Jeez,
was going to
Ravi.
throw Cameron a bone
Yep.
and that he would have the better story. I know the story, so I'm not going to vote. But let's get to the first story. We will start with Cameron. Cameron, what happened that now you need to replace the garage gate?
So, before we went on vacation, my girlfriend and I manage a couple of apartment buildings on the side to save that rent money.
He gets free
And-
rent by doing this.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
And before
Rare.
we left for Austin, we had to get some things ready. So we got the rent all collected and got everything turned in. We gave people keys who needed keys. Everything was set to go so that we would have no problems while we were gone.
Sure.
So all is good. We had an early morning flight. It's about 3 hours. The flight was perfect. I hate flying, and it was the best flight I've ever had.
Okay.
But when we land, we have a text message that says, "This is Detective So-and-so," in all caps.
What?
no.
Call me immediately.
My heart would
And
drop.
oh, yeah. And at first
What?
I thought it was one of these things like, okay, when the IRS calls you
Oh,
Yeah,
about
it's
your
a phony
tax
thing.
scam
Yeah,
or
yeah,
a
whatever.
Saudi
Yeah.
prince.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I Googled the number and it looked legit.
Oh, damn.
So we called the guy back and he says, "Hi, everybody's been trying to get a hold of you." We're like,
sorry.
"What the
The
hell
hell?
happened?"
on a plane.
Yeah.
Said, "Well, there's been an incident and we were told you were the managers of the apartment building."
Oh my God.
And so we said, "Okay, what happened?" Well, apparently in the time that we were on the airplane, somebody went up to the front door of the apartment building with a axe
Oh,
oh my God.
and tried to break into the front door, and he couldn't. I guess
All right.
he wasn't handy with an axe. So he went into the garage where he started rifling through cars and started stealing things out of trunks, etc. One of the residents in the building tried to stop him, and he decided to get in the car and lock himself inside. They called the cops. The cops came. They tried to get him out. After 30 minutes or so, he wasn't moving. So what does the guy decide to do? He runs out and carjacks a different car.
All right.
By this point, there are 10 plus police officers
Who are apparently not doing their
who
job.
are
Right.
not doing their job.
If he's able to
Pointing-
can't
go
stop one dude with an axe.
I know. Who have the guy at gunpoint.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
taser, bro.
Right. Well, apparently that didn't work, and he thought he could still get away with it. So he took the car that he just stole out of the garage and rammed it through the garage gate.
Badass.
Yeah.
over and over and over again until it broke off the wall. He ran
Cops still don't have 'em.
he ran into one police officer's car.
God forbid.
And then he got away from that one and ran into a second police officer's
No.
car, at which point they were able to break his window, fire beanbag rounds at him,
Oh my God.
and
No.
arrest him.
See,
Damn.
So needless to say, we will be replacing the garage gate.
Wow.
See what I mean? He could have done a much better job with the needless to say tease.
needless to say, the cops
Yeah.
suck.
I watched,
But not as bad
watched
as
the
your tease.
security footage when we got back.
Was it
and
awesome?
It is insane.
Why don't we have it
Yeah.
right now? Then?
I want it. Can we
post it?
It's a legal thing right now. I tried to get it,
Oh.
but soon enough we will have it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you wish you were there to see
A little
it?
bit.
That's
brutal.
nuts. I
Bit.
can't believe he got away.
I know.
Oh, almost got away.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good one.
Cameron would have thrown
Thank
his
you.
girlfriend in front of him. Here, take care of it.
Right.
Get it.
Sure.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, that would have been the
Oh,
smart
babe,
thing
there's
to
a
do.
bug.
Get him. Get him.
babe,
It's just
there's an
beanbags. They don't hurt.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's a
Okay.
good story.
That's
Yeah.
a great
All
story.
right, so that's
Thank
Cameron's
you.
story. And now we move on to Greg Gorey. Now, Greg Gorey, you're needless to say, was that over the...
Over the course of vacation, I was essentially remarried to a woman.
All right. And what happened with you?
Well, that was because, as you guys know, my best friend is my ex-wife. Just so happens to be my ex-wife. Yes, I was married to a woman. It doesn't come up that often, but that's the part of the story. She came down for her annual 4th of July visit. Everything was going great. A lot of beer, a lot of hanging out by the pool, swimming, having a good time. 4th of July came around, same deal. Lots of beer, swimming, barbecuing, having a good time. Once the sun goes down, we do what we call white trash fireworks. We go into the driveway, get into the back of my truck, and basically stand on top of my truck and watch all the neighborhood fireworks. These are not fireworks shows. This is
Right.
just John
Yeah.
and Jane Doe
Yeah.
lighting off fireworks. But
Amateurs.
there's a ton of them, and it's actually basically a fireworks
Yeah,
show.
straight
So
up.
knowing that we were going to get into the back of the pickup truck, my friend was smart enough to put her sneakers on to climb up into the truck. So luckily she had sneakers on. We all had flip-flops on. And then when the fireworks show, quote unquote, was finished, we went back into the backyard where all the beer and barbecue is going on. She had her sneakers on still and thought, well, got my sneakers on, might as well play with the dog. By playing with the dog, I mean make the dog chase me. So she's sprinting at full speed. It's pitch black outside, unfamiliar backyard, goes to the narrowest portion of the backyard, trips, falls, and lands on her hands.
Mm-hmm.
So luckily we were buzzed. She seemed to handle it okay. She said her thumb was hurting her, but we went on with the night, gave her some frozen peas and said, just deal with it,
Frozen
right?
peas.
Right.
Yeah.
Dr. Greg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some
With
frozen
recipe.
peas.
Frozen peas.
With frozen peas.
And Ravi would be proud. I have one of those CBD pain stick.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I rub that on. I'm like,
Oh,
here,
okay.
here's some CBD.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what it's for.
yeah, just
Yeah.
rub it on your thumb and,
Broken
and,
It's a
digits.
fix-all.
and take some frozen peas. So that she luckily made it through the night. Everything seemed okay. Granted, she was sore. Next day, we had big plans for our one fancy dinner of the week. And right before leaving, she said, I should probably get this checked out at the doctor because it actually feels 10 times worse than it did yesterday. We go to the doctor. As you know, not a quick process,
Yeah.
urgent care. We were there
Right.
for probably 4 hours.
Oh, Jay.
Then she was referred to an orthopedist, and at the x-rays found out that she had a Bennett fracture. A Bennett fracture is when the base of the thumb breaks and the bone actually slides downward. So the what used to be one bone is now two, and they're side by side. It is gnarly. So that means she has to spend the night in the brace, and the next morning I have to take her straight back to see the orthopedist yet again, where they say, yeah, we can't put you in a cast. You need surgery.
Yeah.
And you need it now. So that means taking her home for about an hour, then going straight back for pre-op, which took hours, the actual surgery, which took hours, the post-op, which took hours. Then I had to go to the pharmacy and get her prescriptions. I was the liaison between the surgeons and myself, so I was getting phone calls all day. Then I was the liaison between the nurses and myself, so I was getting phone calls all day from them. Then pick her up at post-op, do the wheelchair thing where you take her to the car.
Well, you forgot the
Then-
part where you're at the
Yeah.
pharmacy and realized that you were paying for all this.
Oh, that's right. I get a call from the attending nurse. Hey, on your way up to the room, I need you to stop at the pharmacy, pick up some meds. Just give them your ID. They'll know what you're there for. Okay, great. And then boop, 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 bringing it up. Your total will be X, Y, and Z. I'm like, wait, what? Now I'm paying for this?
What?
And then I go to the room to pick her up. Poor thing. She's on IVs. She's coming out of the anesthesia. Anyway, needless to say, I spent 4 of the 5 days away from work, essentially remarried to the woman because I was talking to doctors, nurses, orthopedists,
Paying for everything.
and
Rearranging her flights.
rearranged her flight so she could leave 2 days later than planned, so I could, cook her meals, help her with her bra,
Oh.
help her with the shower,
Aw.
help her with her hair. Mario clipped her nails. It was very surreal. And I feel terrible because she's in awful pain and she has pins now and wires.
Wow.
And the other part that Greg's leaving out is then when she gets back, she's worried about not being able to work. So what does Greg do? Gives her money
Oh, yeah.
because she's not
wow.
going to be able to work.
I
Wow.
left that part out.
See, what I'm saying is he's got a stay-at-home wife
Well,
Yeah.
that's very nice of him.
Yeah.
as a gay guy.
How much
I
did
mean-
all this? What would you say out of pocket was for the stipend?
Under 4 figures, just under 4 figures,
Damn, son.
several hundred.
Hmm.
It sucks. I don't know what the medical bill. The medical bill
Yeah,
will
well,
be.
is that coming in your house
The
too?
medical bill will be thousands. I don't know
Yeah.
how we'll deal with that when the time comes.
Was it? Well, no, that's not going to be your
It
responsibility.
won't be. It won't be. But
Does she have insurance?
yes,
Okay.
Oh,
But it'll
thank
be
God.
thousands.
it'll be thousands.
Yeah.
I mean, Ravi has insurance. She had to get an appendectomy. So it wasn't just
Thousands.
zero.
Yeah.
Thousands.
So yeah, it sucked. And part of me is battling this emotional battle because I feel guilty for even feeling it. But I thought so much of my vacation was ruined.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
she broke
was
her
ruined.
thumb in a terrible way. Had to have
Yeah,
surgery.
but
And I thought,
she's a grown-up.
right. And then I thought, oh man, 4 days of being.
And this is why when something bad, Ravi wants Greg around.
What do you mean? Oh, yeah.
We've
'cause
talked about
he'll-
this before because
yeah.
he'll pay for everything.
He'll take care. He
he'll
will take
care of
good
yeah.
care.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, I think what would mess with me mentally is she was doing something so stupid.
Mhm.
You know,
But trust me, she's
Yeah.
really mad at herself.
I'm sure
Yeah.
she is.
She's
How
kicking.
dumb? You
Was
know?
it
Yeah.
was it weird giving her a shower?
I actually didn't give her the shower.
But you helped her, right?
Washing
Yeah.
her
Did you have to like
back.
wash
I helped
her
her
and
with
stuff?
Yeah.
the bag and stuff like that.
Oh, you didn't
Aw.
spit water on her? In a sexual way?
No, but then I had to put a bra
Were you
on.
in there with her like how some
No.
people shower with a
Yeah.
baby?
Luckily, no. I said just leave the door open,
Yeah.
yell out if you need anything.
Yeah.
The weird thing was putting on the bra because I don't know how women put on bras alone because I did it for her and I thought, I'm doing it for you, a third party, and it's hard for me.
Did you get a boner?